Okay, this one's going to be a little controversial, and I'll remind you that controversial does not mean wrong. Okay, so this operator was designed by Ken Thompson in B and was copied into C. It was originally intended for incrementing pointer variables. Now, since then, we have determined that pointer arithmetic is harmful, and so we don't do it anymore. The last popular programming language to feature pointer arithmetic was C++, a language so bad it was named after this operator. This operator was implicated in the buffer overrun craze of the 90s because it's really easy to write dense code using this, which tries to do too much, which is very difficult to understand, and which can very easily run off the end of memory and allow an attacker to take over your system. I find in my own practice that when I'm using this operator anywhere, I get this twitch, and I got to start optimizing. I got to try to push stuff all into one line, and I can't control it. So finally, I had to say, I'm done. I don't use ++ anymore. I don't trust myself to use it because I can't control this. Because optimizing stuff into one line has no value, so it's a waste of time to even try. And it can introduce bugs and security hazards, and I can't stop myself. So the only way I was able to control my behavior was to say, I'm not using it anymore. I'm using +=1 instead. And then I'm calm. I can just add 1, and I'm good. And I hear complaints all the time from people saying, oh, wait a minute, I should be able to write X++ because it means exactly the same thing, and it's 1 character shorter. That means when I'm power typing, I can just go, pop, pop, and and I'm so much more productive. And I have to say, well, first off, typing is not where we spend our time. And second off, they're not equivalent, okay? ++x is equivalent. So when I see somebody making this mistake, in the increment part of a for statement, if I see x++, I have to go, okay, this clown, does he know the difference between pre-increment and post-increment? And so I have to look at every ++ in his program and go, did he get this one right? Did he get this one right? It's because this is a really subtle off by 1 error because it's only off by 1 for a tiny amount of time. And so tracking that down and debugging it is really hard. And so I think it's better just to avoid it entirely. Recently, I was reviewing some code and I saw this, ++x, ++x. And wonder, okay, what's the story here? What's going on? I'm guessing somebody wrote ++x, and then later someone else came and noticed there's an off by 1 error, so they put in another one. Now, if the first one had been written x + = 1, it would have been really easy to change it to x + = 2, and it would have been right. And that raises a question, why do we have a completely different syntactic form for adding 1 than any other value? What's the benefit of that? I really don't see a benefit. But I do see people get really emotional. You can't take my ++ away. How am I going to add 1 to things? And you go, just 1. People get really, really upset about ++. So for no cost, by adopting a more rigorous style, many classes of errors can be automatically avoided.